What is going on, YouTube fam? So a lot of you may know me already and know that I have used this camera right here, the Panasonic GH5, in a lot of my videos. Today, I think it's time to finally talk about my thoughts about it after 8 months of using this camera. We're gonna get started with that right after this intro sequence. So if you guys are new here, let me introduce myself. My name is David Lee and I'm a photographer and cinematographer looking to help you improve your visual content, the way you execute it, the way you show it off, and kind of just give you tips with tutorials, advice, and kind of just entertain you guys with my own videos. Today, we're going to be talking about the Panasonic GH5 from my perspective after 8 months of purchasing, using, and just overall experiencing this piece of equipment. So we're going to get started with that, but before we get started, I would like you guys to comment below what camera you guys are using, whether it's for your pictures, your videos, or what camera are you thinking of buying if you don't already have a camera, because I'd like to see where all of you are and what you guys are using, and that'll give me like an image of what my viewers are using and kind of what I can do to help you guys improve and kind of learn your camera. So let me know in the comments below. So without further ado, let's get started with the GH5 8 months in. The first thing that I just really want to point out is that this camera is a complete and awesome workhorse. Now you can put this thing through so much. You can put it through extreme weather conditions, you can put it through heavy workloads, constant filming, and you will never be let down. Of course, the one flaw that everybody points out about this camera is the low light capabilities. They're always like, oh, it doesn't match up to the Sony a7S. Does any camera match up to the Sony a7S other than the Red Weapon 8K? Or come on. Really? You can't really compare everything to a Sony a7S because there's so many flaws with the Sony a7S compared to a bunch of other cameras. Is it really fair? Kind of like the Sony a7S is great. Don't get me wrong, I love what it can do, I love the capabilities of it, but there's other cameras out there that still don't match up to it but are so much better, because low light isn't everything. As long as you can tell a story, the camera is good. And it goes without saying, the more features you get, the more you can sacrifice. In this game of cameras, it's all about sacrifice. What are you willing to give up for something else? Because you can't have everything in one camera or else we'd all just buy that camera. It's kind of a game of what are you willing to give up? What's your situation? For me, a Sony a7S would be good because I never do studio work. I always do natural lighting, and I never really know what my lighting is gonna be. So the a7S would have been a good choice. But I also love my crispy, creamy quality and my 120 FPS slow motion and all my buttons being in the right places and the ergonomics and the clean menus. And I just really like the way the GH5 works. So that's why I chose it, aside from the Sony a7S. I also had influence from people like YC Imaging, Creative Ryan ATL. They have had GH5s, they had GH4s, they had GH5s, and they're sticking with the GH5 still to make certain videos. And that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm keeping the GH5 alongside my 1DX2 because this is my work production camera. This is the kind of lighter weight thing that I carry around, and I pair it up with my 18-35 Sigma lens, and it's great. I do it for music videos, I do it for production work. Everything about it is really good except for the low light, and that's the only flaw that I can honestly name off the top of my head. Otherwise, I'd really have to dig deeper into it. But remember, it's all about sacrifice. You can't have everything in one camera. What's wrong with the 1DX2? It's extremely heavy. The 4K doesn't work right. What's wrong with the Sony a7S II? It's too light. Now that might not seem like a problem to everybody, but sometimes it is with stabilization and whatnot. The lenses are so expensive with Sony. The color's not, on point like Canon's color. There's always something wrong with the camera. There's never anything that works perfect. You can't always get exactly everything you want, or else everybody would just buy that one camera because that would be the best camera in the market. It's all about a game of sacrifice. What are you willing to give up? Anyways, on to the next thing that I love about the GH5. With the GH5, I'm already talking about what are you willing to give up. The GH5 offers so many different resolutions: 4K, 1080, 1080, 10-bit, 4K, 10-bit. There's so many different options and frame rates and resolutions. You kind of get lost in it. You get confused looking at the menu, and you kind of just don't know what to pick because there's so many different options, and you might like confuse yourself with that. And that's not necessarily a bad thing because that just gives you more opportunities and different styles to film and so many different ways to color and Do you need to export it right away? Do you need to be able to color this and that aside from this and that? Do you need to, just like, what kind of quality work are you doing? The GH5 offers so many different resolutions and frame rates for different workflows and different levels of professionalism. So are you a hobbyist? Are you just doing it for YouTube? Are you doing it as a professional? It offers so many different frame rates and resolutions that you can be anyone and use this camera. And I love it. Now here, the best part about it is that it even offers an anamorphic 4K, which, if you guys don't know what anamorphic is, it's kind of like the cinema movies where you have the HD bars at the top and the bottom. Now that's an actual kind of, that's an actual resolution size. It's not because people throw in the bars in post-production. That's not how it works. The lenses are cropped. It's cropped from here, and it creates that bar, and that's what anamorphic is. And the GH5 actually offers that as a resolution, and that's pretty incredible because that just opens up a whole new audience to this camera. One more downside about this camera is the autofocus sucks. There is basically no auto, but I have never used autofocus on this. But when you're trying to vlog with this is not the camera to go to unless you're not moving too forward and back a lot, because the autofocus on this camera really sucks, and it's just something that isn't good. And I mean, it's never been a problem for me because the whole time I use my GH5 I've been doing manual focus, and that's alright with me because I do it for production work, and most of the time production work requires manual focus. Now I know that I say this camera is a workhorse, but if you're here to take photos with it, you're not gonna have a good time. The photo options on this aren't that great. You get 12 megapixel photos, which is the same as your cell phone if you have an iPhone, but the thing I do love about it is the frames per second. It shoots really quick. And I just used up like half the shutter life with doing that, but it does shoot extremely quick. It does do 6K photos, so if that's something you're into, this camera might be pretty good for that. And you can do 6K video by doing multiple pictures in a row. So yeah, if you can look away from the low light and the autofocus, this camera is completely amazing. I have used it on so many projects. People have loved the quality of the work. They have loved how things turned out, and I love the slow motion on this. I love the 120 frames per second. Now it may not be as Krispy Kreme as the 1DX2, but the camera is also fifth of the price of a 1DX2. So this is crazy because the slow-mo's awesome, the 4K is crispy, 1080 is even crispy, and you can't even tell them apart on it. So if you want to mosh 4K and 1080 together, this camera is the camera to do it. Oh, not to mention that it has a flipped out screen, so you can look at it from different angles and kind of see what your screen at all times. Panasonic GH5, 8 months in, I would definitely recommend this camera to my worst enemy. This is an amazing camera, and there is no way that I'm gonna get rid of this unless a GH6 comes out with so many more options. Thank you guys so much for watching, and if you're new here, make sure you guys smash that subscribe button, and if you haven't already, make sure you guys hit that like button, share this video, and drop me that comment below about what camera you guys are using, and make sure you guys tune into the next video, which will be on Thursday. So I will catch you guys in that next video, and everybody have an awesome day. GH5 guys, GH5 guys, 5 guys, GH5 guys. All right. Anyways, catch you guys later. It was supposed to take pictures. Oh, catch you guys later.